I'm more of a horizontal person more than a vertical person. A little bit about so many things more than knowing so much things about one thing. And so it's decision making everywhere, every day, every moment. I can tell a secret. The secret here is to sell yourself first. It's people buy from people they like. Being an entrepreneur is someone who wants to take the responsibility of changing things. And I can tell not everyone is ready to be an entrepreneur. Not because it's tough, but because it's different mentalities and different personalities. I think as an entrepreneur, you play double roles. You play the manager at the line, and most of the time you play as playmaker and in the ground as well. The decision of hiring anyone is something crucial for your business, make you success or fail. We were planning to go from city 1 to city 2 by one road, and suddenly we found different roads to do it. It's all about the focus. I did business in Nigeria, in Morocco, in Italy, in Oman, in Kuwait, in UAE. I love to live real life versus the virtual one.
I am your host, Gaurav Garg, and we welcome all our viewers to our show, Amazing Mentor. Today with us is Mr. Moustapha Bekheet. He is an entrepreneur. He is the founder of PAM Media Inc. and Retail Act. He is an accomplished information service professional with extensive experience in bringing cutting-edge technology to corporate clients. Proven ability to conduct accurate need analysis, solve problems, access technical capability, conduct strategic planning, build and motivate team and manage projects. He has a solid experience in radio and TV channel management, oversees all technical and commercial aspects of the channel to pursue the commercial objective and targeted revenue for the channels. With a proven record in sports TV channels and live studio management and building state-of-the-art football analysis applications, defining and managing project and product for new media, online content store, IPTV services, and 4 streams products. It's a pleasure to welcome Mr. Moustapha to our show, Amazing Mentor. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation and for the long introduction. And hopefully we have an interesting episode today in your lovely show.
My pleasure. So tell us about your childhood and any particular childhood memory that you would like to share on our show.
I am from Egypt and I left very rich childhood in many cities in Egypt. According to my father's work, he had to travel between cities. I used to live in kind of a closed community where sports was my centric. So I think in the eras of the 80s, our childhood was very rich with activities, outdoor activities, sports everywhere. And somehow a good knowledge from the national TV at that time. It wasn't like the on-demand what we have right now. So even young kids have to be exposed to international news, cinema, music and everything, So I believe my childhood was very rich compared to today's. As I see my kids are around the virtual life, between games, between social media, but we were very, very interactive and gaining the experience ourselves. Yet the society was a little bit protective more than right now, but at the end, I believe it was something I was happy and fortunate to live.
So what about your educational background, schooling and higher education?
I ended the national high school degrees, which is Thanawiya Amma, we call it in Egypt here. So after that, I joined the almighty Cairo University, one of the oldest universities in Africa and the MENA region. I studied engineering and the Faculty of Engineering. My specialty was systems and biomedical engineering. And actually, I was hoping to go for the computer science at that time, engineering, and it wasn't that popular in the mid-90s here. Wasn't the era of the IT and ICT booming like now. So after joining the engineering college or faculty of engineering, I thought of, okay, I might find something better. I joined the systems and biomedical engineering, and at the end, I specialized in system engineering. So, at the end of the day, it was mine. I believe it was a very rich and competitive time in the university. It's not that easy, and it was all about the theories more than being practical. But it made us a very good foundation to move on and gain your practical thing. And I think it's something very, very good for my career. After that, after graduation, unfortunately, I didn't have time to go for the postgrads, but I did some free studies. And also I had a PMP certificate, which is very, very important for my career, reshaping my way of thinking in the mid-career, as I thought.
So, what about your dream profession as a child?
As I said, I was a sports kid, and I used to play squash as a profession and then water polo as a profession as well, and always dreamed to be a football player or a water polo player. But at that time, sports wasn't that paying back like now, and my parents weren't supporting that much to be a professional sports player. So if it's not that, it was like an engineer. And I saw myself in engineering in general, creating things and bringing inventions to the world. And from that, I think I achieved already a little bit of it, as I'm doing in the software business in general, if we can call it, and entertainment and media in general, which is very, very, very promising industry in the innovation and the creativity and bringing things that never been done before. So I believe I achieved a little bit of my dream.
So, who was your inspiration in your early childhood?
I cannot name one. Many people, definitely from Egypt here. So heroes everywhere, like the Nobel Prize winners like Naguib Mahfouz, lecturer, and Dr. Ahmed Zouail in chemistry, and others definitely. And from the history, we have a very rich history, like 7,000 years, lots of heroes. So for me, it was something like I want to leave my name after my death, like something like those did, and adding to the humanity and the history of life, even by a small bit. I'm not looking for having like the Elon Musk thing right now, but I was thinking of the added value I will leave after I'm leaving this life. In the industry, as I said, it was in the very beginning, and from our side, it was only the Bill Gates was the popular name, even before Steve Jobs. So yeah, if you can call one that we looked after, it was Bill Gates for sure.
So, how was your university experience, and what all fun activity did in your university time?
Actually, it was very tough days in studying. As systems and biomedical engineering, we studied subjects in the School of Medicine, School of Chemistry as well. So we had different aspects to study and very tough. But the idea that take me like a storm and made me change my mindset of even the studying itself was my very first exam. We have in the Faculty of Engineering, it's very popular to have exams at the very first week, exams everywhere. It's like quizzes everywhere and anytime. So my first quiz, that was something about mathematics. And I think my degrees after the exam was like 7 out of 15. So for me, it was catastrophic for my first time ever get below the 50%. And not only that, but I have a colleague, she was brilliant. And she's the rank number one in the first year. But she got 24 out of 15. We have like the over degrees. So for me, it was, okay, come on. The exam was tough, yes, but someone got an over degrees more than what I got in the overall exam. So from this point, I believe I cannot forget it, but I think it was the time to think about studying in the university is definitely different than studying in the high school, and started to make some kind of a plan to study and to make things going, not only to understand the lecture, but also to solve the exam the way they wanted to do. But overall, I think it was something challenging for me, and it was my first time ever to hear the term ICT, information communication technology. It was something like an invention for us at the time. It was my first time to get a PC, a personal computer at home. And if I'm telling that to my kid right now, he will just laugh because, he just found a mobile in his hands before even a book, So it was a different culture, you better know. And yes, had lots of fun at the end.
So where did you start your career journey from?
After I finished the university time, I started to work as a biomedical engineer for a very short term. Why? Because it was my summer training. I had a chance to go for one of the top companies in Egypt as a trainee after the third year. So after I finished, I definitely run after having a job there. Once I was there, after a 3-month spell, I found it's a kind of transportation, kind of a service more than innovation, because it was like a service engineer. So one of my close friends, he was my colleague as well in the final project for the university. He joined along with other friends and very close colleagues, to a newly ventured company called Melody Entertainment, which was the first musical entertainment group of channels in Egypt, maybe in the Mediterranean region. They called me, they said, we need a software developer to join us, and you have the capabilities as we are doing the same thing during the university. It was for me a career shift, kind of, because I would leave the biomedical and go for the systems. But from my studies and my 4 years in the department, because we have a 4 years in the department, I found myself more rested and more innovative in the system engineering and software industry. So it was career shift, much higher pay at the end, and very promising and something raising in the future. So I just joined Merit Entertainment, and from this moment I started to work there for 9 years consecutively. I believe it was my real experience, my real gain in the industry, because it wasn't only a software developer. I was a software developer. I was working in the commercial as well, dealing with the telecom operators, dealing with the connectivities and content management, and the very first days of content distribution across the social media like YouTube, iTunes, and Facebook, and monetization of the content digitally in a way that now it's norm. Back then it was very futuristic. So I think it was maybe got signed to go there, but it was a real career shaping for me.
What was your first task and first take-home salary?
To take it, I will forget about the biomedical thing, but I think the very first for me was with Melody. It was to build an IVR system, interactive voice recognition system. At the time, it was the shifting from the traditional analog thing to what we call it SS7. It's a very popular term in the telecom part. It was to build the very first SS7 system in Egypt. And for me, it was very challenging. The team was four. Me and another colleague were the coders, and the other two are managing on the project. And I stayed like for 6 months, having drops and drops and drops and drops until it's finally flashed like, okay, hooray, it's working. I believe it was like really after 5 working months and bringing experts from abroad, and everyone just dropped the hopes in the project. It will never work like that, but finally we did it, and the company worked with that system for like 5 years without any single update on the software or that. For me, it's a lifetime experience that the first project you are working on takes that time, and after that it succeeded literally. And I do remember the first day we went live to public. Me myself, I was shocked with the traffic we had that time, and it was something very make me very proud of myself for that.
So what were your initial days challenges, and how did you overcome those challenges?
The first challenges was how to gain experience, actually, because practical experience is totally different than the theoretical one. Yes, we had projects, we had deep knowledge in the university time, but once you are in the real field, it's different, because no one will teach you everything in the university. And as we were working in a very new and promising and challenging industry, which is the digital content distribution, there was not that much references, even in the coding itself. So you teach yourself, self-taught, and searching and looking for the references and making the combinations and making the strategy for yourself. It's not that easy like now. Even the coding right now, you have the help, you have the communities, you have the internet like what you can teach yourself in a couple of hours a new language from scratch. At that time, it was very tough, but how to have your own way to make your own plan, even at early age, to make a project plan, a personal plan, a progress plan, so you can have your own career in the way. Also, the second challenge for me, maybe not that early, but later on, how to make myself broader, not only a software developer in one direction. I think I'm more of a horizontal person more than a vertical person. I like to know a little bit about so many things more than knowing so much things about one thing. So for me, it was how to broaden my knowledge and how to know the aspects of the business, different aspects of the business, even with the challenges we have every day. And I think that's what made myself surviving until now in this challenging industry.
So how was your transition from an employee to an entrepreneurship journey?
I keep telling my fellow partners and my younger employees what I thought to myself, and I believe I did that. It's not something to make a code after myself. I told myself at the very beginning, if I worked for like 30 years, this is my career, like 30 years, I will divide it into 3 areas. The first period is to learn, to get learned. only learning. I'm not pushing myself to make money. I'm not pushing myself to get advanced in a way or do something out of the world unless I have the bingo moment. And after that, I'll take another 10 years of working with what I learned. So gaining the experience at the first 10 years, then practicing the experience in a better way in the second 10 years, and then making money out of my experience and work. So I don't want to push myself, make money from the very beginning, and I stand still I made myself committed to my job, and I was looking at my career more than my bank account and trying to gain as much as I can from anything around me. And that was very, very important for me. Then suddenly, and really after 10 years of working as an employee, I found myself eligible or capable of having my own business. And that's why I decided to started my own venture. And it was actually after 10 years of being an employee. And it wasn't like that I'm saying, okay, stop working for someone else, you have to do yourself. No, I said, okay, I have my own dream, I want to fulfill it. But if my dream will be as an employee again, I don't mind, I can go shift this and that. So I started my own entrepreneur thing, and thanks to the new startup ecosystem era that we left in 15 years ago, it was everywhere in the world, a little bit delayed here in Egypt. At the time, I was living in Dubai, in UAE. So it was much easier to establish your own company in like with regulations and everything around that. And what I started to do is to sell my knowledge. And that's why I have my own software experience. I have my own content experience. I wanted to have this kind of selling these services and also building my product. And this is something I had a vision for, that I want to have my own product, pushing it to the market, getting my knowledge into it, and having the right stakeholders with me to build it. So it was the start. And after having this kind of an establishment, which is PAM Inc., Pan Arab Media Incorporation, I had 2 spells to work as an employee. And I see the hybrid model at that sometimes it will be beneficial for you as long as you can make the balance and make the transparency between the 2 entities. The first, I had the chance to be managing director for Mazika.com, which is a music streaming service owned by OT Ventures, one of the biggest media and telecom groups in Egypt and in Egypt. At that moment, I thought it's I am practicing the entrepreneurship with real mentors, and maybe without my own money in that, but I have the full authority to lead the business and make it grow. And thank God we had a great successes in 2 years, and we had a great exit for the owners of the whole project. And my second spell came after like 4 or 5 years, when I had a chance to establish and founding Watch It, Egypt's biggest video streaming service. At that moment, it was a hybrid model between the software developed by PAM Inc. and the ownership of the project by the UMS, the biggest media group in the MENA region right now, United Media Services of Egypt. And that time, I had another chance to be the VP and managing director of Watch It. I saw it again, it's another chance for me to go for the higher level of managing a business at that big and that large, this kind of from the investment part and the distribution part. So from my point of view, I don't see the entrepreneurship is the only gateway for anyone, or being the employee is the end of your dreams. You can mix between them if you have the right chance. So decision of stop working as an employee and going as an entrepreneur, it wasn't like that chart for me. It was an opportunity. If I have the opportunity here, I will do it. If I have the opportunity there, I will do it. As long as I have my freedom to create things and to change things and to be responsible of the whole business as much as I can give to the place.
So what were your day-to-day challenges when you started your entrepreneurship journey?
Lots. Lots. First is the paycheck. You have to take care of all the financials about your employees, your commitments, the office and everything. Second is to bring in with you the right talents. And the balance between the talents and the paycheck at the end of the month is something very, very important. But the top of them is the decision making. Because once you are an entrepreneur, once you are taking the responsibility of having things done and get things done, you always tend to make decisions every day. decisions of working hours, decision of hiring, decision of firing, decision of going into ventures, decisions of signing with the customer. And I like the way I'm going to the customer, not waiting for the request. So planning even the sales plan for us is something of a decision you can go. And so it's decision making everywhere, every day, every moment. You have to find your own reference for that. You have to find your own way of regulating your decisions. You cannot do random decisions again at the end of the day. You have to have your own way of thinking and building things on what you learned. We will all make decisions. We will all make mistakes and decisions in the way of how to learn out of your mistakes. And in the next time you make a better decision much faster and less failure probability in that.
So how difficult was it to convince your first client?
Yeah. Well, I can tell a secret. The secret here is to sell yourself first. And this is what we heard and we learned after all. It's people buy from people they like. So if they like you personally and they convince them that you are capable of delivering whatever they are asking for, no matter how small or big it is, it will be the thing of the trust. And trust will come from your personal governance and from your knowledge. And that's why, for me, I can consider it a big one, which was a launch of a TV channel, the digital launch of it. I think it was my first big project. And it wasn't that easy for me, but people trusted in my capabilities and in my team at the time. And they said, we want you to take care of everything, building every single aspect of this. And as I said, the learning years for me was very important because I did that before as an employee. So for me, I was very familiar with ingredients I needed, how to build the social assets, how to build the website and mobile application, what's best for them. And this is, I think, the very crucial part. If you manage to put yourself in your customer shoes, you will succeed. And this is the thing I believe it was. I did my commencement and I did my sales even before the project. They came to me and said, we have this very short time. We don't have so much people to fulfill it. You will be the one, we'll want you to do it. It's one of my happiest moments ever,
So what major differences did you feel in an employed and an entrepreneurship journey?
Well, as an employer, you have so many questions. It's always questions, and you are looking for someone else to answer it. Even from the very small one about your financials to the very big ones about your projects and career. Once you are an entrepreneur, you should have the answers. But actually, you have your own questions as well. But you have to find the answers yourself. You don't want to follow anyone. You have to search for it through your network, through your readings, through your experience, through your trials. You have to have guts to think of how to solve the problems. Everyone runs for you to get the answers. Your employees, your customers, your partners, your vendors, everyone is asking you because you are the responsible. And for this, if you don't see yourself ready, don't do it because you'll be asked a lot.
So how would you define entrepreneur?
Being an entrepreneur is someone who wants to take the responsibility of changing things. And that's it. No matter the thing, how big or small, how complicated or simple, you will take the responsibility of changing it. Maybe it's a service, maybe it's a product you build, maybe it's something you serve. And you decided to take the responsibility. And by responsibility, I'm saying everything. I'm not talking about financials only. I'm talking about people first. And people, I'm talking about internal people, your team, external people, customers, and the market as a whole. If you are an employee, you will be part of an organization. If it failed, it failed. If succeed, succeed. But if you are an entrepreneur, you have to face the world by yourself. People know the companies by people. So you will be the face. If you failed, you failed, not the only company. So you have to take care of everything around you. It's like by being a passenger to a driver. You have to take care of everything around you. It's very challenging. And I can tell not everyone is ready to be an entrepreneur. Not because it's tough, but because it's different mentalities and different personalities. People will succeed heavily as bankers, as employee in multinationals, or even local successful companies. And this is the way they want to live their lives, and this is the way they are fitting. And I always give the example with football, as I'm a sports guy. So If we have 11 players in the football ground, we have different rules, and there's one manager outside. And even after ages, the 11 players right now, the superstar, the heroes right now, will retire, but we'll not have 11 managers at the line. We'll have one manager at the end. So not every player will be a manager, not every player will be a coach. And even when you are playing in the playground, you have different roles. There's a striker, there's a goalkeeper, there is a defender, there is a playmaker. And that's how the harmony will be. I think as an entrepreneur, you play double roles. You play the manager at the line, and most of the time you play as playmaker and in the ground as well. This is because I don't know, much people started the entrepreneurship journey with lots of financial power so that they can be the managers and bring in the best 11 in the ground. Most of the time you play different rules, and the waste when you play different rules in the playground and being the manager. And that time, it's the very, very speedy fail because you will not focus on anything. So finding the right team with you and being able to be the manager from the line, to see the mistakes, to these opportunities, to analyze everything around you and make decisions for them, it's very important. Sometimes at the beginnings and sometimes in the middle of your journey, you'll have to play yourself. You'll just take off the jacket and put on the jersey and go in for one mission. And this is what I'm always saying. I can do a mission in the playground and get back to the sideline to focus on the bigger image. But being the everything in the game, it's a one-man show, it's not entrepreneurship.
So if you are given an option to roll back, what would be your answer?
Roll back? Oh, actually, really, I always believe that God gave me much, much more than what I dreamed for. Really, literally, it's not something for a public speech. It's really what I believe in my side. So everything happened to me exceeded what I dreamed for. So I have no regrets for that. Maybe, I would like to roll back to my early education years, but taking them to these years, where the internet was that rich, where the information was that rich, where the outreach to the world is that easy. Definitely our learning curve will be much faster than what we had. And that's what we are blaming the current new generation, Gen Z as we call it. You are wasting a great opportunity. You have the best ever, really, communication and education opportunity mankind had. You are wasting your time with things that not that productive. I'm not saying they are not productive, but I'm saying they're not taking the best out of what they have in hands. What we had in the early of this century when I entering the market definitely was much better than before, but not like now. So if I have the time machine for that, I think I can go for the early stages, but bringing them to nowadays, and I think I'll be a different person.
So what was your thought process behind starting Retailec?
Well, Retailec, it came like with a focus. We had a focus first. PAM Inc. was my first venture. We had focus for products because we think services had its own margins, but with the market dynamics, it's not that profitable and it's hectic all the way. It's hectic. Having your own product is much, much stable and long-term vision for your company, whatever you are doing. And this is what we see it in the value of the companies right now and the startups. So at PAM Inc., we had one product at that time, which was the OVP, the online video platform. And after that, we had a chance to build another product, which is an e-commerce enabler technology, which we call it Retailec. So at that time, we thought streaming and media is totally different than e-commerce and the fintech. So we decided to build a new venture, Retailec. It's a sister company or a subsidiary of PAM Inc., a sister company for other companies in PAM Inc., so that we can have our own focus on Retailec and the e-commerce enabler technology and the fintech, which is now is the booming thing in the MENA region. Everyone wants to go online and building the second generation of the fintech industry, and we are in the heart of it. So Retailec was the combination of our hope to build a product and the need from the market to having an e-commerce ready-made solution, tailor-made for the region with the all aspects of fulfillment, payment, and everything from the homegrown services we have other than the internationals. That's why we focused on Retailak at the moment and started to build our own product. Right now, Retailak is the owner of the product called Shopix, which is something we think of the second generation of the e-commerce. That's to prove that what we have as a vision in 2018 is on the right direction right now, as we have our second generation product. And still at PAM Inc., we are focusing on the streaming services and the streaming technologies and how to enable entities to have their own streaming platforms. And so we have two products and focusing on them more than the services, as I said.
So as a founder retailer, what are your roles and responsibilities?
It focuses on two things: setting the strategy for the product itself, the product plan, not the execution of it, and definitely on the business development on the other side. So I think with the maturity of the company and the maturity of myself, I don't have to be a player on the playground in this anymore. I'm on the sidelines, so I'm more on the planning, either on the product level or on the business development level. Sometimes I got engaged in sales, definitely, as anyone does, but it's not consuming my time on that part. And I believe in that. I'm always focusing on the fintech ecosystem, more or less, how to make it much better, how to think of the regulation, the new regulations we have, how to get engaged in the discussions about setting the regulations here in Egypt and maybe in the MENA region very soon, and how to penetrate more new markets for us. So it's more of that strategy, as I can tell myself right now, is more as a stable entrepreneur than starting entrepreneur. So I'm more on the sideline, which I enjoy.
So how easy and difficult is it to manage employees as an entrepreneur?
You have to be understanding for the changes. You cannot manage people like you used to work. We have different generations, even if it's like 10, 15 years, maybe different in ages. But as we said, Gen Z is totally different than us. So you have to understand their mindset. You have to find the motives for them. You have to find the way to lead them in day-to-day activities and on the bigger vision for them. And definitely it's not that easy. But if you are a good employee at the beginning, you should be responsible of your team as well. If you're not responsible of their paycheck, you are responsible of their motives and their career and building the career and the output of them. So practicing as an employee is very important. Once you are an entrepreneur, you know how to think, you know how to deal with conflicts, you know how to plan, and you put yourself in their shoes in there when you were young like them. So not that easy, yes, to lead people with different cultures, but it's always about having the right plan and having the right experience and having the right people to help you managing the younger generations, this kind of hierarchy of any company, even of a small scale or a small number of employees.
So what all product and services do Pan Arab Media Inc. provides?
Well, we are, as we call ourselves, digital transformation company. We put ourselves in that from the very beginning, and the media. So we are proposing services in terms of content distribution, content protection, production as well across the digital channels. And on the other side, we have our own product, which is OVP, the online video platform. We are very honored to be the supplier of the streaming service of the Telecom Egypt brand here, the biggest telecom operator in Egypt, and also for Watchit, the biggest streaming service in Egypt and one of the biggest in the MENA region as well. We were the suppliers of the software for both. So serving the media industry and the production industry from end to end on the digital frontline is our mission at PAM Inc. PAM Inc. as well has its own subsidiaries. So we have Digital Hub, which is a digital agency that serves social media management, digital marketing activities, and corporate identity creation, along with the content protection and distribution things. And also have another subsidiary, which is Retailak, which is the one focused on the e-commerce enabling technologies and fintech solutions.
So what are the core values which makes Pan Arab Media Inc. and Retailak unique and successful?
I think honesty and transparency is first with everyone. Every single employee knows everything about the company. There is no secrets behind here. And when we are dealing with our customers, we deal with them as our partners, and we never upsell anything that you didn't need. We always put ourselves as the consultants for them before the sellers for them. So once you put the things in the right direction with them, you gain their trust, and then you start being productive for them and bringing them the right value. And at that time, we prove that we do nothing but without the science background. We study everything, even if it's about design, even if it's about the social media management, it's all about science, having science, having numbers. Thank God we are in the digital industry where everything is measurable. So you can measure your success, you can measure your plans. And this is the thing that made us unique in the industry and in the market, not only in Egypt, but in the MENA region, that we have science background for everything. We have an experience and the honesty and transparency. So when we are getting consultancy before sales, you know that you are selling the right thing at the right cost and the right usability for yourself. You buy nothing that's useless. And so we'll never leave our customers. I'm very proud that I have customers successfully with us since day one until now. And this is something very, very tough in the very challenging industries we have and the changing industry we have. So this is the way we develop our business, about trust, about honesty and transparency.
So, how has been your journey from installation and maintenance medical engineer to founder and CEO?
It's a long one. Yeah. I learned one thing from being a service engineer at the beginning, that if you saw yourself not in the right position you dreamed for, go for a change. Don't be that stubborn. If I was stubborn, I will never be as what I am right now. Once I saw it, it's not like what I dreamed for. It's not like my career. Once I had a chance to change, I changed it. And then the journey after that was about learning and learning and learning, and find the right moment to make decisions. It's always about the decision. Even if you are a young kid, it will definitely make your life changes at the early ages. Always, like I'm giving the examples about sports again, you have to make decisions. If you are playing a solo sport, playing a team sport, you have to make decisions. Decision is the key. So decision to leave my first job and changing the career was a great decision. The decision to stay in one place for long and getting the knowledge and experience from them while changing my role inside, but I'm gaining the industry experience, was a decision. Starting as an entrepreneur was a decision. Going back in parallel to be managing director for two companies in two successive areas to fulfill my need to manage a global thing and a bigger companies, and that it was a decision. Having my PAM Inc. up and running for right now, very soon will be a 10 years company. It's something I think it's an achievement for myself. It's a decision. And hiring every single employee in PAM Inc., I call them all partners and real partners, was a decision. Every one of them is a decision, because you hire people by their personality and then their experience. They will gain experience anywhere, but the personality is very important. So the decision of hiring anyone is something crucial for your business, make you success or fail.
So, what was the most challenging phase of your journey?
Challenges everywhere. Challenges is in this 10 years of work, we had two devaluations in Egypt here, changing the currency and changing all the dynamics. We have the pandemic, definitely, of the COVID-19. We have lots of economical and social changes. So surviving all this by itself is a challenge. You have to take decisions all the way. We were planning to go from city 1 to city 2 by one road, and suddenly we found different roads to do it. It's all about the focus. Don't lose focus where you want to go. If you lose focus and even survived in the changes, you will end up in a different way. It's not the one you were planning for. So focusing on what you have, even with facing the challenges in the global things and your personal things, it's a challenge of every day.
So, what's that one thing you love about your journey and profession the most?
Things, not only things. First, to travel. I had the chance to travel so many countries I will never do, even for tourism, but I did. And I did business with them. I did business in Nigeria, in Morocco, in Italy, in Oman, in Kuwait, in UAE. Lots of countries I made travels, trips to them and made businesses with them. So first thing I like about my job. Second thing, it's about people. I have to deal with lots of people. And this is the best thing about being an entrepreneur, by its way. So you have to deal with people, different people everywhere. You have to deal with different mentalities, different age groups, different backgrounds, and you have to get the best for you out of every single transaction you have. This is something I like about it, being very social, forced to be social if you are not that. And I like about my job and my journey is the creativity we are working in, because we don't do the same thing twice. So every day it's a challenge. Every day if it's a new product, every day if it's a new delivery, every day it's a new enhancement, and that's what keep my mind fresh. And I discovered this when I'm talking about it, but when you are practicing it, you don't feel it like that. You see, it's your normal job, but when you are sitting back and said what I'm doing and compare it to your competitors, your friends, your colleagues, your whoever, you see how blessed you are in this kind of an industry we are working on. And being an entrepreneur in the media and the digital industry is something I'm very proud of and happy working in.
So who is your mentor in professional journey?
I had one, not only one actually, but we can call them in the areas. My first manager in Melody Entertainment, there are actually two managers, Khaled Abdelhadi and Khaled Awais. Both of them had given me lots of support and real education throughout the years. Also, one of my free studies, I had the information technology management studies. Dr. Nizar Nabil was one of the very first people. I had the chance to learn from him how to make the theory being practical and how to get the theory out of the practice you are doing. And this has made my mind in much better way right now, and I can focus on things theoretically and practically on the same way. I believe the three of them had great impact on me, and definitely after that I have lots of people worked with and I learned from them in the Mazika.com streaming service. I had Khaled Bishara and Fadi Antaki. I had in Watch it, I have Tamer Morsi, the CEO of the group, is a very visionary businessman, and I saw the aspects of the business from a different angle. And I think right now I'm trying to give back some of what I learned, and currently giving a course in the for the postgraduate students in the Faculty of Mass Comm in Cairo University. Something a little bit different about what I studied already, but giving a course for the postgraduate and master's degree students for the digital platforms. And for this, I had a first trial last year, and this year will start very soon. I think at that part, I tried to imitate what I had from all my mentors, how to make theory of all your practices, how to practice all your theories you are studying. And this is the thing I believe I was blessed to have as well.
So how would you define success, and what is the role of hard work, smart work, and luck in achieving success?
Success is to be a better person every day than before. And this is for me. I mean, it's success. It's not only financials, not only for career, but also about your mindset. If you learn something new, you're a better person. You succeed to learn something new. So success for me is like that. But definitely there's achievements. As I'm always giving the advice to fresh grads, think of the achievements you put on your CV, not the jobs you're working in. The achievements. I managed to be part of this project. And this is the achievements you're looking for. This is successes. But for smart work, hard work, and luck, the combination, we can tell. You can be smart, but without hard work, you'll be stand still as smart. You'll not achieve what you are looking for. If you only work it hard without being smart, you are in the wrong place. You know, it's again, as a sports, if you are playing a different sport, you can go play basketball, cricket. It's better for you if you're not a good football player. And luck comes to the hard workers and being gained by the smart ones. I always saying, being in the right place, it's hard work. The luck is to get a chance when being in the right place. And the success is to use it smartly to make it as you wish. So if you are a striker, if you are in the right place, this is a hard work from you. You train to be there. The luck is to get the ball at that moment. And the smart thing you do is to put it in the net. So the combination of the three of them. I cannot put one before one, but you work on enhancing your smart skills, enhancing it, but you have to do hard work everywhere, every day, every time. This is the thing you have to do. Luck is out of your hands. You can wait for it. But as I said, it comes only for the hard workers.
So what does leadership means to you, and what are the quality of a good leader?
Leadership is to start by yourself. And it's very important. No matter how you give advices, if people didn't see you doing the same thing in the right way, they think that you are just giving blunt words. Leadership is to start by yourself, to support people when they need, to know when to blame and when to encourage and when to celebrate. And this is very important. And again, this is something I'm very worried about it, because the new generations are coming from the virtual kind of virtual gaming, virtual life. They didn't interact with real people. And this kind of interaction that would make you a better leader at the end, because you had these kind of feelings yourself and you saw it and you saw the impact on other people, so you know how to develop it and how to work with. I'm not telling that because I'm Eastern person and we are, emotional a little bit, but it's real how to be emotionally smart and how to get people doing their best happily and productively. It's how being a good leader at the end.
Entrepreneur and media both consumes time. So how do you make your work-life balance?
Well, media is very challenging, and I'm in the part of having myself in the industrial part of it is making me happy with that, because I'm at the end of the day, I'm not the creative person. I'm not the one I'm not the director, the writer, but I can see the aspect of the media industry and how to make it profitable for whole ecosystem. And this is something I like to, because I'm a media consumption guy. I'm consuming media all the way. I'm listening to music all the way. I'm watching movies. I'm watching sports. I'm trying to practice everything around that, like gigs even. So working in that industry is something very important for me. Being the entrepreneur in it is very challenging, because I have to interpret between the audience and the creators, and something not that easy, not that straightforward, but that would make my life happy with my job, actually.
So what's the best thing about Egypt?
Oh, I cannot say one thing. Egypt, okay. Egypt is about people, because people are heritage. People are the 7,000 years of heritage and innovation for the mankind. People here like to love, like to live, like to face the challenges with a smile. So yes, people in Egypt are making it very welcoming country to visitors, tourists, or workers, or whoever is coming to. And I do believe with the right guidance and right leadership, it could be a better place. But also about Egypt, our coasts, we have a lovely coast all year long, within the Red Sea and the Mediterranean as well. So you can just track quick vacation, quick weekend on the shores and free your mind out of the stress you have right now. And the third thing, especially in Cairo, never sleeps. Anytime you want to go out, you can go. Anytime you want to eat, you can eat. You can find friends everywhere. Even 4 a.m. in the morning, you can find places to go. So it's very lively city, and very, very warm, you can tell. So yeah, I'm Egyptian and proud, So I like my country. I like living here.
So what advice would you like to give to young entrepreneurs?
Don't rush. Try to focus on learning first. I saw people try to establish their own startups as an entrepreneur after just finishing their college. I see it's too early. You have to gain technical knowledge about the domain you are working in. You have to gain personal knowledge and social knowledge about how to deal with people. And you have to be ready with your ideas and make the way of forming it into something that can grow. So being an entrepreneur is not a job you are choosing. It's a choice you make when you find yourself ready to establish it. So don't rush. That's it. And second thing is to measure everything you do, not by your heart, by your mind, and make things measurable for yourself. So you can say, this is successful. We can repeat that. You can stop this, not because we like it, but because it's success or fail.
So what are do's and don'ts you would suggest while starting any entrepreneurship journey?
Do focus on your customer needs. Do focus on your team needs. Don't focus on your personal dreams. You have to contain it. I'm not saying neglect it, but you have to contain it and make it feasible to what you are in. Don't rush into early financial growth, but for sustainable growth for the whole company and making the scale of the company as smooth as you can. This is the very first trick people fail in. After have a great launch, they fail in the scaling. So focusing on that is very important. And do organize your time. Do be a leader by example. Don't be just a manager for your team.
So, what would you like to say to graduates who are just entering their professional journey?
Try to gain experience as much as you can, either by self-taught, either by courses, either by joining a good firm that you can learn from, either by sometimes looking for challenges and in your spare time. Read more, not only about your domain, read about everything, because reading is very important. And that's what we learned after all. I wasn't a good reader at my early ages, but after all, I found reading is very important. It opens worlds for you, and it opens new ideas for yourself, even outside of your domain, and it's very, very important for yourself. So don't focus on the first salary and first wage and the name of the company. Focus on your career and how you will be really developing your career in that part.
So now we'll start our rapid round.
Okay.
Employed or entrepreneur? Choose anyone.
Entrepreneur.
Success in one line.
Achieve something you never did before.
Luck, hard work or smart work? Choose anyone.
Combined. I cannot sell one.
Your favorite destination?
Italy, for sure.
Your favorite adventure?
Favorite sports? Football. And my team is Zamalek of Egypt, one of the best in Africa.
Your favorite actor and actress?
Robert De Niro, for sure. Robert De Niro. And my favorite actress, it's an Egyptian one, Suad Hosni.
Your favorite color?
Blue.
Best thing of being an entrepreneur?
Having control.
So at last, one line that defines you.
I can tell hard worker who like to face the challenges and don't afraid to take decisions and don't afraid to have mistakes. And I love to live real life versus the virtual one.
So thank you very much for your precious time and opening your heart on our show and advising the young generation on how and what not to do. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for this. It was very rich and very fun for me, actually, being interviewed in that way. Very casual and very smart as well. And hopefully I give some fruitful answers for our audience, and wish you the best of luck in the great show. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for watching Amazing Mentor. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to get regular updates. Thank you very much.